All right, let's take you to this story now. It's all systems go for the official opening of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature later this evening. Premier Panyaza Lesufi will deliver the State of the Province Address. Now, today's sitting sets the tone for the legislative term ahead, with service delivery, economic recovery and job creation expected to dominate the provincial agenda. For more on what to expect, we cross to SABC News reporter Mbalenhle Mthethwa, who's at Nasrec for us. A very good afternoon to you, Mbalenhle. So at last year's SOPA, the Premier had unveiled the G13 priorities for all of us. Most certainly, many, one assumes, would want a fair account on how far they've come in addressing those very issues identified last year, because they accurately identified the issues. So what are some stakeholders saying there ahead of the address?
Well, certainly we had gotten an opportunity to speak to some of the opposition parties, and they are accusing the Premier of failing to deliver on those 13 priority areas. And we will remember that that included infrastructure, and that infrastructure also includes water infrastructure. And we've seen in the city of Johannesburg, as well as parts of the city of Ekurhuleni, there have been water challenges, but the residents of Johannesburg have been feeling the brunt of the lack of water as a result of a lack of infrastructure maintenance. Now, Joburg Water has had a deficit in terms of the maintenance budget that is allocated to the agency. However, it would seem as though the President has had to somewhat step in order to assist with regards to catching up on that maintenance backlog, which has resulted in many residents being unable to get water. We've seen a series of protest actions taking place in the city of Johannesburg, not only in Melville, but also as far as Tembisa, or rather Ebony Park, as well as the areas just around Auckland Park, really taking center stage. And that is the general consensus regarding those 13 priority areas. There is also concern about the state of municipalities and whether they are actually able to deliver on their primary mandate. Now, you will know that municipalities are responsible for the provision of basic services, whether it's refuse collection as well as the provision of water and sanitation. It would seem as though there are some gaps, and this is the background or the backdrop that the Premier will be delivering his address as we speak right now. We know that in the city of Ekurhuleni there have been protests which have somewhat stopped as a result of a decision by the Metro not to disconnect households following notification, after residents received notification that they would be disconnected. Now, there are also other concerns. I mean, the year before, you will remember that the Premier did unveil other plans in order to strengthen security in the city of Johannesburg and all the other metros, as well as Gauteng as a whole, and taking on the responsibility of community safety and bringing it to his portfolio, bringing in a number of young people who then became part of the crime prevention wardens in order to strengthen police visibility in and around the province. And unfortunately, we know that that decision was then overturned by the Public Protector's report that found that the establishment of the unit was incorrect in law. And we later saw a statement being issued by the Minister of Justice, as well as acting police minister, really just introducing the wardens as peace officers as a way of just correcting that decision to establish them without following the law. Those are some of the challenges, but the other challenges that have been mentioned is the fact that it seems as though opposition parties believe that the Premier has failed in providing those face recognition cameras in and around Gauteng, as well as the choppers. And those are the questions that people are asking. What has been done in order to safeguard the lives of residents? We will be speaking to many of the MECs that are going to be coming in, and they are going to start coming in as of 3 o'clock. And we are also expecting a parade that will also be led by the Premier as well as the Speaker of the Legislature before this particular venue is declared a legislature for the purposes of the delivery of the State of the Province Address. But for now, it's back to you in studio.
All right, Mbalenhle, thank you very much for that reportage. And we'll certainly touch base with you as the day progresses and there's more activity. That's my colleague, the SABC News reporter, Mbalenhle Mthethwa, out at the Nasrec Expo Centre ahead of the Gauteng State of the Province Address.